Ooh. Hi everyone! How's it going? Did you guys hear me? I am Greg Tito and I am welcoming you to 2019 in the world of Dungeons and Dragons. Welcome! I hope you all survived. How are you all this fine day? I see amazing people here already. There is Alpha Stream. Hi, we're Alpha Stream 1. Is that better or worse than Alpha Stream number 2? I don't know. But you're here. Hi. Hi, Bilbo. You are welcomed. You are welcomed here in the D&D stream, and I'm happy to have you. Dilligan Gaffern. Hi. How are you? And Elwarius, Happy New Year to you, sir. It is always good to see your smiling face, even though you're not necessarily smiling when I look at the chat, but I'm always seeing a smiling face when I see your name. Welcome. You guys are awesome. Thanks from Ireland. Someone's from Ireland. Hello, Ellis Fire from Ireland. What county do you hail from? I'm going to pretend like I know what county it is other than... Was it County Cork? There's County Blarney. I don't know any of the counties other than those. But I am excited that you're here and are ready to talk about some D&D news while you're at it. So welcome. Unassuming Stream says my face is awesome. Is that true? I was actually looking at the video for this. I'm like, it seems a lot clearer than it normally is. So you get to see my full unadulterated face for this whole hour as we go through some of the happenings in the Dungeons and Dragons world as we lead into Dice Camera action happening in just about an hour. And I'm now scrolling to find out what episode it is because I always get that wrong. It's episode 123 today, if you can't believe it. How awesome was that Dragon Plus with Bart and Jeremy talking through stuff? I didn't get a chance to actually watch it, but I love the fact that the two of them get to dish about all of the fun D&D rules and talk to you guys. So did you have fun? Did it all make sense to you? All right. Do you see all of my pores? Oh, no. V2 blast. Now I was going to make a really gross pimple popping joke, which I'm not going to make, having to do with your handle there, V2 blast, and I'm not going to. In fact, just talking about it now is making me uncomfortable, so I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop that right about now. All right, so yes, episode 123 of Dice Camera Action will be happening very soon, and then we got Sirens of the Realms happening tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific time. That should be fantabulous, and I can't wait for the return of both those shows for here in 2019. So thank you for watching everything that's happening. I'm going to do a quick recap of all of the fun D&D stuff that we released at the end of last year. There was a lot of things. I know you all had a great holiday break. I hope you took as much time off as you could to squeeze your family and make them feel loved. That's what the holidays are all about. I did that a lot. I was at the I don't think I knew it, but I was kind of at wit's end at the end of last year. I didn't, I don't know, just had a bout of unhappiness, I guess I could say. And it was amazing to me that I just randomly mentioned that on the Twitters. In conjunction with some wonderful recognition that I was getting here at Wizards of the Coast, as well as out in the world, and how I was commenting on the juxtaposition of that, like how awful I felt, and these being recognized at the same time for my work. And I want to thank the D&D community. A lot of you in the chat right now just espoused their thankfulness for everything that we're doing with the Dungeons and Dragons community, and it made me feel a hell of a lot better, and I just wanted to thank you, and I'm hoping that everyone that I get to speak to and interact with, not just now, but in 2019 in general, can also feel that amount of love and appreciation for all of the creativity you do, even if you're just playing a D&D character in your home game, if you're interacting with Betrayal Legacy, or creating characters by yourself on D&D Beyond. You are an amazing person, and I love everything that you do, and I appreciate it. And thank you for being a part of this warm and welcoming community. All right. And on top of all that, I wanted to say that Dungeons and Dragons is very, very excited about what's happening in 2019. I almost want to spill all the beans, similar to the way Nathan Stewart and Kate Welch did last Friday. Exactly. So yes, thank you everyone in here for saying you're being awesome. Oh gosh, you're the best. Yes, so Spoilers and Swag was great last week. Did you guys see that? It was Friday at 11 a.m. Those two, Kate and Nate, are great. I just like how that rhymed, honestly. But they are adept at coming up with things that are coming this year. So I'm going to recount that a little bit here. They mentioned a nautical-themed product is coming. Showed a few covers of that. And I can confirm that it is true. There is, in fact, a nautical-themed book coming. I will not, spoil any more than that. But it is going to be pretty awesome, and I can't wait to tell you all about it. The announcement for that, the official announcement for that, will come in the next, month or so. But there will be, I don't want to say minds blown, but there will be with the winds changing. I don't know. I still don't even know what that means. But it's going to be pretty cool, and I can't wait. And it pulls on a lot of the story threads that I really enjoy about Dungeons and Dragons play at the table. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. If you're unclear about what I'm talking about, go and watch Spoilers and Swag, the recap of that, both on our YouTube channel as well as here on twitch.tv/D&D for more info. I'm not going to spoil any more right now, but it is I can confirm that what they said is true. Also, that we are going to have a big streaming event that will occur. I think Nathan spoiled the date because I started talking it to people and they're like, "Oh yeah, I already know because I watched Spoilers and Swag." May 17th, 18th, and 19th. That's when that will occur. It's going to be even more fantabulous than you could possibly imagine. It's a big, stream of many eyes filled hole that we have to battle against. That was a pretty awesome event, and I don't know if I could do anything differently, or those of us putting stuff together for this event could do anything more amazing, but we're trying. We have a lot of plans. There are a lot of irons in the fire to make it even more fantabulous than last year's event. And that's a hard thing to do, and is to continually make things bigger and better each year as they come. But that's what we do here at Dungeons and Dragons, and we'll continue to do that more going forward. Gosh, I wish I could tell you everything about what I've got going on here. I've already been working on the spiel about how to tell people about this event and get them excited about it. So it's on the tip of my tongue, but I'm holding it for now. Yes, and Jeremy Irons is going to be involved. That's all I have to say. Actually, no, Jeremy Irons will not be involved. But Scar from The Lion King will be. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so just let me go quickly through some of the fun stuff that is out there from Dungeons & Dragons. Again, we released a whole bunch of stuff at the end of last year, so understandable if you have missed a few of those. We have core rulebook gift sets out in the wild. What do you think of those? Did anybody get any of those at... oh, I see Yoda ate my head in there. Hey, what's up, Mark? How are you doing? You're not allowed to listen to these things. Wait, yes, you totally are. Hi, good to see you. Mark and I used to play in a Dungeons & Dragons game back in the day in New York City, so I am happy to see him here. Yeah, the core rulebook gift sets. Did you guys get a chance to look at those? Did you have them in your possession? The shininess and the foilness of them are amazing. So if you haven't yet seen them in your local game store, or I guess you could look at it at Barnes & Noble, or I don't know if local libraries are stocking the core rulebook set yet, but that might be your best bet for finding them. They are worthwhile. I guess there are people in here saying that they do in fact already own those core rule books, and so the set is not needed. And yes, of course, you are big fans for that. But what I like about it is getting them, and then I regifted a lot of my core rule book stuff that I already had because I just like the presentation of the Hydra 74 special edition covers you can only get in game stores, as well as the shinier covers of the regular, I don't know, the covers that were released back in 2014. I see a lot of people in here saying that you did get the covers and that they are awesome. Yes, Crystal Fire, the alt covers are awesome. You are jelly AF. That's a accurate statement, I guess you can make, because I am not ready for that jelly. All right, so we also had, of course, Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage, and its attached maps and miscellany. I want to ask this kind of seriously. Obviously, this is not a scientific poll at all, but how many folks were still powering through Dragon Heist that the addition of Dungeon of the Mad Mage was like, oh my gosh, this is such an awesome dungeon. I don't know if my players will ever get to it, because that's the thing that I felt. I had started a Waterdeep Dragon Heist group. I think we played 4 sessions, maybe 5 sessions over the course of the fall there. But then holidays and kids and families got into the way, so we weren't able to schedule anything in December, which reminds me, I got to start sending the emails around for when we're going to meet here in January. But we're still on like I guess we're in chapter 2 of Dragon Heist. So it's going to be a long while before we ever get to interact with Dungeon of the Mad Mage. But what I think is cool about Dungeon of the Mad Mage and the maps and miscellany product is that you can use each one of those levels in any game. You can just say like, hey, this is part of the dungeon that you're discovering right now just includes this level, and you can use or not use any of the Undermountain underpinnings within that dungeon. But each of those dungeons are self-contained. Each of those dungeon levels are self-contained enough and full of plot hooks on their own that it's super interesting to be able to drop that into any world, whether it's homebrew or Forgotten Realms ish at all. It's perfect. So I'd love to see people talking about how that. And I'm just scanning here. Some folks are saying that not yet started on Dragon Heist. Oh yeah, so Aquarius, you're thinking of weaving the two together. That's smart. I think that'd be the way to do it. The only problem about that is trying to figure out how to do the balance of power, right? So that first, second level characters, even in the first levels of Undermountain, might not be able to fly, but maybe they would. With a good DM, you might be able to figure it out. I like a challenge, and oh, that's what that was interacting with. And yes, Lauren, you and I had the same idea too. I get weird calling you Obo. I don't know why, but because I know you as Lauren. But I totally get it. No worries. Techno Skull. Do you think they have different play styles? I think that's probably true. There's something to be said about the over level of the city in Waterdeep having a more narrative or interactive feel than the dungeon crawlingness of Dungeon of the Mad Mage. But I think there might be a lot more similarities there than you think, or at least ways that you can pull on plot threads in each of them to work together. But I also understand how that's not necessarily everyone's cup of tea. So mixing them up may not work, but if it does for other groups, that's all the time. Oh yeah, I guess Obo number 1, yeah, I would assume you're a number 1 in my book because you're awesome. So that is Dungeon of the Mad Mage. We also had the Dragon Heist dice set come out. Did you guys get a chance to look at that? It has awesome polyhedral set of dice, 2 d20s, 1 large size, 1 smaller size, so you can roll with advantage and know which one is which, I guess. Not necessarily, but... and then there's also a hit point counter in there as well, so that's badass and awesome. Again, I'm just going through some of the fun stuff. I know I've talked about this ad nauseum over the last few months and weeks of this, so that works. And I hope you guys were able to check it out because it's pretty fun. The dice set, I mean, in addition to the game of Dungeons and Dragons. Do you guys know about that? It's fun. Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. A lot of people loved Guildmasters. It was a way to jump into a completely new world, which I dig. I am still thumbing through that book and pulling out ideas to doing other things. I'm also playing a lot of Magic Arena, so I love seeing things like the Loxodon cards pop up, and me think about, oh, maybe I'll play an Elephant Man character in my next D&D campaign. So I hope people were digging that. We got a lot of great response from folks that were enjoying this mashup between D&D and Magic the Gathering. And what did you guys think? Have you been able to play around with it? Oh, yes. Hobo Crazy is #1. Yes, thank you. Everyone needs to know that. So yeah, Techno Scald, what do you have to say about Ravnica? If that's what you're trying to say. Do you have more to talk about, or do you want us to talk more about it? Well, then fine. You don't have to do it now, but it is amazing. Yes, I know. Majesty, yes. Dungeons and Dragons, how can you believe it? And then there was an awesome maps and miscellany product with that as well. So on to other kind of differently themed stuff, I guess I can say. A lot more family-focused products we came out with in the last bit. There was Adventures Outline, which was a great coloring book. There was the Endless Quest books written by Matt Forbeck that were totally written with a young audience in mind, but works for adults as well. They are pick your path books in which you can make some decisions and choose how the story unfolds. There's 4 of those out there. They're pretty amazing. Go check them out if you haven't already. I hope a lot of kids got them around the holidays and were able to enjoy them. ABCs of D&D and the 1, 2, 3s of D&D, I got a ton of responses from people who were either gifted those books or gifted them to their children, and it was amazing. So I'm hoping more people were able to jump into that while I was here and talking about it. Also, Dungeon Mayhem was a great way to bring families together and or split them apart depending on how your playstyle works. You each get to play as a D&D archetypical character that's named, of course, but there's the Barbarian, the Wizard, the Rogue, and the Paladin. They all play very differently, very easy to learn, to pick up. A game can be complete in less than 10 minutes, and I heard also on the Twitters a lot of people just jumped into them and played them as much as they could all weekend long during the holidays. So I hope people got to love it as much as they did. So on to some news. We always try to outline a few stories that folks have been talking about in the press, and I want to highlight one that's more actually a video than a... here, I'm going to get this playing so that you can see it. Aha! Yes, the Mr. Matthew Lillard talking to our friends about at IGN about the Waterdeep Dragon Heist Platinum Edition box from Beadle and... Oh, I just happen to be wearing the Beadle and Grimm's shirt right here. See, it says Grimm's. Different model than the one that Matthew Lillard is wearing there, but I have that one as well. It is great. We heard from Matthew on Twitter that they are now completely sold out of all of their complete boxes, but there is a way for you guys now to purchase some of the individual items that are in the Dungeon Mayhem, sorry, not Dungeon Mayhem box, but the Platinum Editions from Beadle and Grimm's. So go to their website, check it out if you can. This amazing gentleman was on IGN talking and unboxing this box. So if you're curious to see exactly what was in each shipped item of the Platinum Edition, here's where you can check it out. We actually have one of these in the office right now, and I didn't even think I should have brought it in and do my own unboxing here for D&D News. And maybe even I'll do that next week and highlight the ones that you can purchase on your own. 147 items. Did you see that? See those graphics? That's why IGN is so awesome. But I'm going to let this play a little bit in the thing while I talk. I always get that wrong. It's over there. It's counterintuitive because I think it should be over here, but it ain't. It's right here. So there you go. So these guys are fantastic, and I heard from both the producer of this as well as Matthew that they laughed a lot as they were taping and talking about it. So I love when people get to have fun together playing Dungeons and Dragons, and it sounds like these guys got to have fun playing together, opening up stuff in a box. So I like that. Oh no, that's a horrible story, Fulgurite Blades. I'm so sorry. Yeah, that sucks. They actually took it out of the bag? What? I feel like you now need one of those inventions where the guy glitter bombs people who steal packages. Do you guys see that over the holidays? It seemed like that was a lot of talk on the interwebs back then. So that stinks. I'm so sorry. You know what? I bet if you were able to get in touch with Beetle and Grimm's, or even just get in touch with me at Greg Tito, and I can let those guys know to be able to help you out there, because that stinks. I don't like that one bit. Yeah, you need one of those. You need one of those that blows up, or to have a fart spray. I like that too. Yoda ate my head. I'm all into as much disgustingness for people who steal packages as possible. So glitter and farts. I feel like that's also a bard spell that we should come up with at some point, if it's not already on D&D Beyond homebrew spells. Yeah, because that's important. Yeah, don't mess with the Harpers. 4 packages stolen? No, I don't. I'm not. I don't condone that one bit. Even though I like to play as chaotic good rogues, I still would not condone that. That's stinky. Yeah. So cool. If you haven't checked out this whole video, I do suggest you do. Again, it's at IGN. Just search for Waterdeep Dragon Heist Platinum Edition, Matthew Lillard. It'll come up as one of the first things. It's super entertaining. Their love and excitement for Dungeons and Dragons, as well as what the box has to handle, is all there. So check it out if you can. All right. I'm gonna use my fancy thing here and take that away. Yeah. We're going to level up our game here on D&D News. So another fun thing that would be really, that is awesome and I want to highlight is this article from Yahoo Sports. Let me show it everyone. Oh, of course, that's the one they don't have an actual image for. I think they do. No, I guess they don't. Oh, well. Well, it was, it's always interesting to have Mr. Joe Manganiello talk about his fandom of Dungeons & Dragons, but it is not oftenly mentioned in a sports-centric outlet. So that's pretty cool that Yahoo Sports went through and talked about his love of Dungeons & Dragons, as well as the, Pittsburgh Steelers, and all that fun stuff. So check out that article if you can. I think we're well documented at this point that Joe loves D&D, and his excitement for it always comes to the forefront whenever he opens his mouth to talk about it. And this article is no exception to that rule. I'm hoping more and more. I don't want to just limit it to actors, but like anybody who is a ultra creative person, I'm hoping more and more of them see the groundwork that we laid in 2018 and before that, talking about what a great hobby it is for both kids and parents and people in general to play more D&D, and I'm hoping more and more come out of the woodwork. So if you hear from anyone, or you're like, oh, I think I know that so-and-so said in an interview that they liked this thing, I want to talk to them. I want to talk to them more. There's certainly people on my list of people who I would love to invite to come on Talk on Dragon Talk and things like that. So it will be coming in the future for sure. Cool. Speaking of Dragon Talk, we are moving our schedule a little bit. For those of you who watch here, the D&D Twitch channel on twitch.tv/DND. We usually stream Dragon Talk, or at least in the past, I would say. We've streamed our live recordings of Dragon Talk on Mondays starting at 2 p.m., but we are moving away from that and starting now on Fridays at 12 noon Pacific time. So if you're East Coast folks, that is 3 p.m. It's kind of late afternoon, early evening for prime time. But in general, Mondays honestly just kicked my butt, and it was hard to get all of our ducks in a row for the D&D marketing and then have to record all afternoon long. My brain was often mush and unable to kind of process and recover from that. So I'm doing that at the end of the week so we can talk through all of the fun stuff and enjoy those interviews even more without being stressed about what's happening in the other stuff that we're doing in the Dungeons & Dragons world. So Fridays, 12 noon, we'll be starting today, I was going to say, but this week with an awesome show. We are going to start with a format of generally doing like 12 to 1 p.m. as intros, setup, banter. We'll be talking to you guys on the chat a little bit more. 1 p.m. we'll have our interview section on this week. It will, well, first off, Satine Phoenix. Hi, Satine, if you're watching. She will be co-hosting with me on this Friday, which is awesome. She's going to be in town planning for all fun stuff, Dungeons & Dragons in 2019, and she's going to hop into the co-hosting chair with me while she can. So we'll be doing all kinds of fun banter for that first hour. Then in the second hour, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific time, we'll be talking to JP from It Me JP and Roleplay, and his handle is Gassy Mexican, but it's Max Gonzalez, who is a player, as well as JP is a player in Court of Swords, which is one of the longest running and most watched D&D live play shows out there. Dungeon Master Adam Coble has been running that for 99 episodes. I think they're having their 99th episode in the next week or so. And then their 100th episode will be on January 18th. 18th, which is very exciting. Maybe 19th. It's Saturday. Now I'm getting it all wrong. And I'm looking it up so it doesn't get all wrong. But we're going to be talking to them on Friday, so we'll definitely know by then. But we're excited and interested. Yeah, it's January 19th. My bad. So we'll be hosting that episode 100 here on the D&D Twitch channel, as long as it doesn't conflict with anything else that's happening. And it's pretty exciting. As I said, it's one of the most watched D&D live play shows out there, and one of the longest running. Been around for a long time. So we'll get into the thick of that, speaking to JP and Max all about it on this Friday. That is the hour long from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. And then at 2 p.m. Pacific time, I will be speaking, I hope, to Jeremy Crawford for a sage advice segment or two for the podcast. And Dragon Talk has always wanted to alternate between doing Lore You Should Know segments and Dragon Talk, and sage advice segments. Those go by the wayside when Jeremy Crawford gets really busy, which was a lot of the times at the end of last year. He was only able to make time to appear on Bart's Dragon Plus show, so I'm glad for that. But I'm really hoping that he's got time this Friday, and we'll get to some fun topics there. If you guys have any topics that you would want us to cover in depth, not necessarily single fire, like, hey, what about this specific, ruling? I would love to find out from you if you guys have any like overarching topics that we could discuss, the rules philosophy behind, as well as why they are the way they are in the D&D 5th edition core rulebooks. So let me know if you've got any ideas. Like in the past, we've covered invisibility and what that means, or how animal companions work, or how wild shape works for druids and things like that, and any corner cases around that. So if you guys got any ideas, go ahead and message them to me on Twitter, and we will go into it and hopefully use one of those topics for Friday's session at 2 p.m. Pacific time. All right? No, Elwarius. Spoilers and Swag will stay in the same time slot. They start at 11 a.m. Pacific time, and so they will be basically lead-in for us on the days of the month when they are on. If that makes any sense. So those ones will take a little bit more of a breakdown and setup time as we change the set for Dragon Talk. But yeah, they no change to the time slot whatsoever. There will also be a couple of other shows that we will be having in the same time slot as Spoilers and Swag on the off weeks when they're not on. So more stuff about that. But one of them is, hopefully, we're talking to Lisa Chen about this today. One of them will be an Adventurers League focused show, and perhaps more of them will be more Adventurers League focused to get more folks interested in playing that, as well as interacting with the Dungeon Masters Guild, because there are a ton of great adventures on DM's Guild that you can jump into. They're bite-sized. They don't cost a lot. Obviously, there's a lot of talk in the community about the cost of adventures and how much they should be for these creators, and I encourage everyone out there to pay what you can. You know, the amount of work and effort that goes into creating these adventures for people to consume out there is more than you know. It's definitely more on the D&D side than you know. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and time away from family put into those adventures on the macro scale, like here in the D&D office, as well as for smaller creators on the Dungeon Masters Guild. So they're deserving of as much praise and adulation as you could potentially give them. So I would encourage you to do that as much as you can. Obviously, if you're in a situation where you can't pay anything, that is totally okay and awesome too. That's part of the reason why the Dungeon Masters Guild is there, is to serve all of the spectrum of people out there in the D&D community, and we know there are a lot from all of you. Yes. All right. Yes, I'm glancing at the chat here to see if I did anything wrong. Oh, hey, there's Merciful DM herself. Hi, how you doing, Lisa? Good to see you. We can't wait for you to be the lead-in for Dragon Talk once a month and potentially 6 times a month. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times a month, because that's a lot. But you're awesome, and looking forward to it. All right, I was going through some news at one point. Remember that? Let's talk about some of these things in here. Oh yeah, I want to give a shout out to this amazing thing. So, you know, I mentioned earlier about awards and stuff, and we don't always get, you know, a lot of those. But here is one that we did get, which I am very proud of. Bleeding Cool is a website. Usually, well, I want to say in the past had been around comics, but our friend Gavin Sheehan has been writing more and more about Dungeons and Dragons there, and this was just an awesome thing to see. So we won the Golden Award from comicbook.com. No, I'm sorry, I got the wrong thing going on here. I'm an a-hole. Yes, I am. This is what I wanted to put up there. Ignore the last 5 minutes of that picture, please. So, yes, Gavin Sheehan was giving us a shout out for all of the amazingness. Tabletop Game of the Year would go to Dungeons and Dragons. He also specifically called out Dungeon Mayhem, as well as all of the live games out there, such as Sirens of the Realms, Rivals of Waterdeep, Dice Camera Action, Critical Role, and more. Big shout out to them. He also mentioned the Stream of Many Eyes, Art and Arcana. He basically was a laundry list of all the amazing stuff that he was able to see. And I love this pull-out quote, even the best. But the biggest thing that helped make D&D the best of the year was the way they interacted with the community. They have created one of the most steady streams of content you'll find on Twitch every week, with a series of shows and programming that will both inform you about what they're working on and entertain you with people playing live games. So thanks so much, Gavin, for writing this up. It's awesome to have you know, people outside of the building talk about it. People even, you know, part of the community understanding how great it is, and how us supporting of that community is something special, and I appreciate that. So thank you again. Thank you to all of you guys who watch everything that we do here on this Twitch channel. It means a lot, and we strive really hard to make sure that it is exactly what Gavin says here, is that it's informing you about what's happening, as well as trying to be entertaining as well. Trying to make this as entertaining as I can too, but it always gets hard when I get a little bit mushy. So thank you for that, Gavin. That's pretty awesome. And then going back to the other thing that I erroneously put up before, but is worth calling out as well. All right, so that's the comicbook.com shout out, which I also quite enjoyed. Christian Hoffer, said that it was another banner year here for D&D, and it was. I don't know if we've said that quite enough, but as far as we can tell, 2017 was the biggest year ever for Dungeons and Dragons. That goes back to as best data as we could ascertain from the TSR days. 2018 is even better than that. We closed it out super high, and so we're really excited about that. And our new publications expanded the game multitudes of ways, which I love that Christian called out. But there are so many other things coming very soon, so it's going to be pretty exciting. And now, since we're here in 2019. We can start saying it's the 45-year-old game. I had someone try to fact check with me about when the exact release date was for the Dungeons & Dragons game in 1974, and there is none, as far as we can tell, because we think Mr. Gygax and Dave Arneson in Minnesota began selling Dungeons & Dragons out of their trunk, essentially. There was a print run. I'm not sure if there is an exact date as to when Dungeons & Dragons began being sold, so we kind of just default to 1974 as when it was first available. So it's a year anniversary, and we can't really pinpoint it down to the date very well. But I am happy to be corrected. If anybody out there in the community knows the exact date that the first Dungeons & Dragons manuals that were printed by Arneson and Gygax were sold, let me know, and we'll start using that date. But for now, 1974 is just kind of the blanket date for that. So now here we are in 2019. That means 45 years has elapsed, which is kind of amazing. So thanks for Christian for calling us out and getting us this amazing golden issue win, and we appreciate it very much. You are the best, and there's more to come. Hopefully we win in 2019. Yes, Mighty Guin, like all fine things, it was sold over like all things like audio speakers and pizzas, sold out of the back of the truck is the way to start it. For those of you guys who are waiting for Dice Camera Action, we're going to be starting in about 15 minutes with episode 122. All of the amazing Dungeons and Dragons players that you know and love from Dice Camera Action will be here. I don't believe there's any guests today, so it's just the full Waffle crew ready to rock and roll in just about 15 minutes. That's true. Yes, Elware is. I don't know. Maybe that's not a thing where you are, but at least it was when I was growing up. I mean, maybe it's a not thing anymore. But when I was growing up, every once in a while, I'd be at a mall or a store with a big parking lot, and there would be someone trying to sell me speakers outside. As I was walking in to go buy something, that fell off a truck is generally the quote unquote thing that was said about those speakers. Never bought them, and I wouldn't trust him if I did. Am I alone? Is that just a thing that just happened to me? I thought that was more of a thing. So I don't know. And I would have loved if someone was selling me D&D manuals out of the back of a truck, because I would have purchased that like a hawk. Wait, does that metaphor work? So the last kind of thing I want to call out news-wise for you guys is an awesome show in which this actually came out on Christmas Eve, was the Talking Ravnica with James Wyatt and Ari Levitch, our friend at the Tome Show. Paige and Ginny of the D&D Roundtable spoke to, as I said, James Wyatt, who is a writer on the Magic team right now, but he was formerly on the Dungeons & Dragons team, so he was the person who created all of the plane shift articles that had to do with taking the Magic setting and adapting them for D&D 5th edition rules. So those articles exist for the last, I think, 5 Magic sets, including Innistrad and others. Those were a direct inspiration for working together on the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, and he contributed a lot of work to that book. And Ari Levitch also was a member of the Magic the Gathering team, now on the D&D team. He did amazing work putting together the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, as well as the rest of the D&D team. And the two of them sat down with 2 amazing people, Paige and Ginny, Ginny Loveday and Paige Lightman, to talk through it all. And I'm going to drop that. Oh, good. You got it in there already, Lauren. Well done. It's a great, frank discussion about putting this book together, about what makes it interesting. If you wanted to kind of supplement the lore you should know segments that I did with Ari last couple months of 2018, this is a great way to start to try to figure out what makes it awesome for you and your group, and maybe get some ideas on stuff to pull out and use in your homebrew, or to try doing a Ravnica set adventure on your own. The Broken Pact was another great way to talk about all that. Ruben Bressler, Dungeon Master, there for that show. I can say that show will be coming back for a second season. No word on exactly when, but we're thinking February, and they will be continuing the storyline of that cast, and I'm pretty excited about it. So lots of great stuff out there if you want to learn more about Ravnica. A new set of cards from Magic the Gathering. Gathering? No, I think it's Gathering. I think. It's coming out very soon, I think in the next week or so. So check out that. There's going to be a lot more of the guilds featured on those cards. So that could be of interest for everyone there. So we released an Unearthed Arcana at the end of December that you can jump into. It is of ships and the sea, and with your the recent news at the beginning of this hour when I was talking about how a nautical themed book and or product will be coming out from Dungeons & Dragons, you might be able to see some tendrils of that in this Unearthed Arcana. I know a lot of folks might have been tuning out at the end of December and might have missed this, so I wanted to highlight it again. Check it out if you can. There's some ship stat blocks in there, the travel at sea, mutinies, hazards, all that kind of stuff, as well as the fun parts of owning a ship and being on a ship while in combat. So delve into that if you can. Fun stuff is happening there. I also want to give a shout out to, I did this at the last D&D news, but I want to do it again just to make sure everybody can see the awesomeness of it. But the winner of the Adobe, I'm using that like it's a touchscreen, but it's not, of the Adobe contest was amazing. Sorry, hold on. I want to make sure you can see it because it is fantastic. And it's very, very scary. All right. I can do it now. Ba-ba. Oh, isn't that amazing? I love that artwork. So good. I wanted to make sure everyone knows that Will K is the winner. Created this amazing monster. And we will be hosting him here at the Wizards of the Coast office, talking through some of his ideas for this creature and what it might, what the rules for it might end up being. But we were really impressed with it. And I also do want to give some shouts out to these honorable mentions. That's kind of the word to go for it. I thought these were all really, really cool and very dark as well. I mean, obviously, when you're talking about a monster from Undermountain, it's going to be pretty dark, twisted, and strange. But these really fit the bill really well here. So any number of them could have been chosen as winners in my book, and they all look really, really cool. In fact, I want this one in the something about this. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can't really see it there, but go to summontheterror.com if if Lauren hasn't linked to that yet already. And you can check out these pictures. You can't really blow them up anymore, but at least you can zoom in a little bit on the web page and figure them out. And then these funny people, you can always watch that video that Lauren talked about there, which should be fun. All right, cool. So we've got Dice Camera Action starting in about 7 minutes. So I wanted to talk to you guys. Yeah, I know, right? What the F is that, says Fathom Knight. It's true. What is that? I don't know. We're going to learn more about it. It's going to be crazy. Big shout out to everybody who contributed to Extra Life last year. The Wizards of the Coast team raised tons of money, and we are excited about it. I think there was, in general, more than $200,000 donated from the community. I think by the end of the year, it actually ended up being $250,000 plus. Anybody who played in any of the tabletop games supporting Extra Life, thank you. If you donated to anyone, thank you. Big shout outs to Greg Marks, who I believe was our single donation winner. Or at least, he drove the most donations to the Dungeons and Dragons team. He's an amazing person and elevated everyone to try and raise more and more money for the kids in the Children's Miracle Network. We are going to be doing more stuff with Extra Life in 2019. We're already working on plans for how to expand that, including offering more apparel. We love the Dungeons and Dragons t-shirts and stuff that we make and give away to folks, but we wanted to open that up to more people and allow them to purchase shirts that then will go to, that the proceeds of which will go to a good cause. And I recently had a family member who was going through a thing. I don't want to get too much into the details, but he was going to a hospital in the Children's Miracle Network and was receiving amazing care, and also was playing games and doing some other things. And it was a little moment of pride for me to think that what I was doing was in some way, very small way, contributing to easing his pain and his experience there as well too. So you guys were a big part of that as well. So thank you again to all the team that did that, and I'm glad that everyone was able to smash that donate button, as that said right there. And we'll be doing more of that stuff, hopefully, earlier this year. I know we talk about it more at the end of the calendar year, but there's no reason why we can't just bang that gong and get more people to donate money all year long to such a great cause. And we'll be doing more and more of that in 2019. So stay tuned. For those of you who don't, obviously you're all watching us live on video right now. Some of you may watch on YouTube, so hi if you've lasted this long in this YouTube video. Hi, thank you for that. And many of you are here to start watching Dice Camera Action, which is going to begin, as I said, very, very soon. But you can also listen to Dice Camera Action in a podcast feed. I don't know if everyone is aware of that. You can take it with you on the go. It's a great way to catch up with older episodes. If you started being a watcher, say in the middle of season 3, well, you can very easily go back and listen to all of the older episodes in podcast form. It's all on its own RSS feed. Just search for Dice Camera Action on Google Play as well as Apple iTunes. Lauren is dropping some links in there right now. That's a good way to make it happen. So continue to listen to those. We don't always get the episodes uploaded as quickly as we may. We're going to try and correct that in 2019 and get them up as soon as possible, as well as improve the audio quality there. So if you guys have any thoughts or ways to improve that, let us know. Or all feedback in general is appreciated for the podcast stuff. So yeah, let us know. And as always, as you're getting ready to start watching Dice Camera Action, there is a wiki out there for all of each episode has a recap talking about what happened. If a specific plot point from an earlier episode is mentioned, they will be linked in the recap, and go to that wiki on Gamepedia.com. It's dicecameraction.gamepedia.com. if you're ever confused about what's happening. So make it happen. It is fantastic, and I really love it. So do more and watch more, and hopefully learn more about what's happening in Dice Camera Action. We have been having lots of plans about what's going to where the show is going to go in 2019, and it's pretty exciting. And I won't spoil anything, but Chris is a fantastic storyteller, and the collaboration between him and the cast always just brings a tear to my eye, and I'm excited about where it's going to go. So more fun stuff to happen there. All right, I feel like I've been sappy enough, but I'm just in that mood. So thank you guys for bearing with me and listening to me for this long. We are going to close down D&D News for this week. I'll be back next week. I will also be back here on this channel on Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, starting with our first recording of Dragon Talk for 2019. Hopefully I'll see you then. If not, I'll see you next week for D&D News. And this is me signing off. Enjoy your episode 123. Sorry, ran out of air. All right, bye guys. See you soon.